during the week, spent a bunch of time with UFO50, and
Oh,
that's
good old UFO.
UFO50. That's my plug for the week.
I would like to blame Joel for ruining my pronunciation of UFO. That'd be Joel over at Vinesauce,
hmm
Mr. Varg Skeletor. He was playing that Signal horror game with the aliens, and he kept saying UFO porno over and over and over and over and over.
Nice.
And I can't say it right anymore.
Um, so yeah, the UFO50 is a game by the guy that made Spelunky, and it's a collection of 50 games in one cartridge.
What do
So
you mean 50 games?
it's kind of like the old 250 in one Nintendo cartridge from back in the
That
day.
was super legit.
Yeah, full of all those ROM hacks, right? And so immediately I just got mind blasted and then lightly told the story of the time when there was supposed to be a best friends game that was
I
multiple
remember
games
that.
together, and that whole
Yeah,
thing.
that did not happen.
No, but it sure was a fun idea, certainly. And it's,
There were like 3 or 4 like really fun ideas that the instant it started to find somebody to actually do it, it was like, oh wait, this is hard.
it's pretty hard, yeah. But that one actually got to the point of like talking to developers and people. Like we sat down and had meetings about it.
But it's hard though.
It is pretty hard. But nonetheless, that was the concept that was kind of similar. So when I see this existing now, it's kind of like, oh man, there's that same idea, and like every little thing about different genres and stuff coming together, they hit to some of the same beats, right? So it's like of the 50 games you're playing them in it's a hidden console, secret being discovered, and you're playing
It's a secret.
the games in chronological order. And sometimes a game that you play early on in the generation, you see a sequel to it later on in that list.
What a cool idea.
Yeah, it's like I mean, what a brilliant plan that like totally did not cause any damage upon seeing every one of those little bits and pieces that were like, oh my god, we were doing the same thing years ago.
So let me ask you, and I think this is the most important thing about UFO 50.
Oof.
So these are pretending to run the gamut from what era to what era?
1988 to
So the NES
mid 90s.
to the Super
NES
Nintendo.
to Super Nintendo. Yeah, I think that's what they're doing.
Here's question 2. When these are, let's say, NES games, are these
Is that wrong?
appropriate?
Is it
No.
all 90s? Is it
No,
all
82 to 89.
I'm sorry, I got the years wrong.
Okay, so extremely early, like not probably Atari, Christ, to late NES then. But is it running? How do I put this? Are these real games? Or are these micro games?
They are real games, and that's
fucking crazy.
That's the part that hits, right? They're real games, and they take time. Now
that is fucking crazy.
Now, they're real in the sense that they have the mechanical depth in a lot of cases. There's multiple levels and things you unlock and so on. They're not like 10 or 8 hour efforts, you know what I mean?
Well, no, because NES games weren't.
No, but in terms of like a 1 or 2 hour effort, absolutely. Some of them are smaller than others, but it still was like everything that I experienced was like these were all pretty real, and at bare minimum were like a small NES game, you know?
I have to say, this Steam page is legitimately incredible because this trailer is amazing. Like,
yeah, so someone's saying there's a 20-hour RPG in there. I can only talk to the games I've played, and I have not played all 50 yet. And completion wise, even fewer than that. You know?
Cover this. I'm covering this.
But the point remains is that like it is a grab bag full of
strategy RPG.
Yeah, it is a grab bag of different games and genres that spread the gamut, and they're all absolutely reminiscent of old NES games and old NES game styles.
Oh man, one of those is like look browsers.
But then there's stuff that is just like brand new and original, right? So For example, the first game I played, Cyber Owls, which is actually the end of the timeline, is straight up a. I play it and I'm like, oh, here's a Ninja Turtle style beat 'em up, um, where it's you're scrolling and then it's pretty hard and then you get you lose and then your character mascot gets captured and you have to go rescue them with one of the other characters. When you do that, the genre changes to a puzzle top view rescue mode thing. Almost like when Bionic Commando camera changes for the rescue missions, right? Where you go from side to top view. And then if you don't do a rescue mission, each of these four characters has a different gameplay style entirely. Where like
Shut up.
one is Contra style, one is like Wild Guns style, shooting into the background, and this is all just one game, you know. And that game has like music and some voice clips and stuff going on because it's like where the console ends at. Versus the first game, which is called Barbuta, which is silent, slow, moves at like Prince of Persia PC speeds, and you just slowly walk around this giant, quiet environment, falling through the ceiling and dealing with threats as they come with your very limited sword attack.
Been in development.
No idea, but there's a pretty long credits list and a whole bunch of people.
Apparently every game is made by different people, or nearly every game.
I mean, when you boot it up, the credits that play are almost like you're opening a crack and you're listening to the crack music play, with chiptunes. So
the Wikipedia article for this game fucking rules so hard. There's like fictional year of release on this thing.
Yeah.
Wow, a bunch of these are co-op. A bunch of these are versus. What the fuck?
Multiple games are multiplayer. Yeah. So yeah, you get your keygen music and then you start the game up and you start playing. I spent way longer than expected to on the next game I picked, Avianos, which is just dinosaur strategy, turn-based RPG, turn-based strategy rather, but on a NES style grid. Where you have to pray to different gods to get different resources and then move and hold four bases. And a lot of it is because you're just discovering these games on this cartridge, the rules are not really that explained. You kind of get a basic paragraph explanation if you look at the info for the game, but otherwise you're kind of WarioWaring it a little bit, You're kind of going like, okay, I don't know what that icon is, but I guess I'll find out. And then you select it, and then it's like, oh, it's a seed. Okay, and a seed is a resource to turn into a type of unit, and you just learn all these games on the fly,
This is crazy.
There's a game that's just like, this could have been a huge hit, popular NES game if it were its own thing. It could have been an arcade phenomenon. It's called Camouflage, and it's like, imagine Frogger View, you're a little chameleon walking around an environment, and it's a one button game to blend in to the texture you're on. And whenever you're not on the right texture, you stand out and you're visible. And if you're in the path of line of sight of the enemy, they come and kill you right away. So you have to learn to traverse and use your camouflage. And that's it. It's just navigate and button. And then that would have been a fucking quarter muncher arcade machine back in the day, Bushido Ball is fucking samurai themed windjammers.
Oh my god.
There's a River City Ransom game called Fist Hell and all these little things that are there. And then there's stuff that's just genuinely out there and really uniquely interesting. Like a game called Mooncat, where the first thing you notice with Mooncat is the entire left half of your controller all does the same thing, and it's move your character to the left, and then the entire right half of the controller moves your character to the right.
Okay.
And that's it. And then you've got to go through this NES style platformer, but then you have to figure out what to do with these two buttons, and you start to kind of go like, oh, how do I jump? And it's like, oh, while you're walking one way, press the other way, and then you leap forward in the direction that you're holding and then you realize you have a whole bunch of movement tech all with just two buttons, and how you alternate, how you press them, and when and what you do. So it's all tech that you're figuring out on the fly in a super basic platformer. Very interesting. in terms of discovery. Uh, one of the most unique ones was Mortal 1 and Mortal 2. So Mortal
Good old Mortal.
is a game where you basically you're platforming across a bunch of monsters, pits, destruction, etc. But you take control of your guy, and you can do one of three things: turn to stone, shoot yourself as a missile, or blow up. All three of them kill you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you deal with the problem, then your next guy behind you can get past that point.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically have 20 lives, spend them wisely to progress
Oh man, that's crazy.
while you lemmings your way, through the level. You kind of get used to that, and then Mortal 2 comes along and goes, "Okay, now that you get the concept here, let's up that so that you have 99 units to pick from, and they're all different classes you can choose. And each class does a different specialty and sacrifices itself for a different purpose. And make your way through this giant Legend of Kage stage." you know? And it's like taking the whole like self-sacrifice concept, but like applying it to like a whole other thing. So interesting, Yeah, UFO50 is real fun, and I can go on. There's a whole lot of them that are worth it, but like I'll say like one other one that's just great is like Quibble Race, which is you're an alien, you're on an alien planet, and you're watching aliens do alien horse racing,
Mm-hmm.
and your base
Okay.
and your options are go take out a loan, which of course you got to pay back if at interest.
Yeah, of course, of course.
You can go see a fixer, and that fixer has a bunch of options such as hey, take a bat to one of these quibbles
Fuck
and
yeah.
slow that fucker down, right? Or get some stim juice going in one of these quibbles and have it go faster. Or like literally like poison. Like you can just absolute scum shit your way through a horse racing game, and there's an AI that'll do some intel and be like, oh, this is the fastest horse in the race right now, the fastest quibble, and you go in and you do what you got to do, then you place your bets, and like the newscaster's like, oh, it looks like this quibble today is looking pretty jacked and pretty huge, must be a new diet. Anyway, and you watch the race as like sometimes the quibble that you might have selected the bat on just doesn't make it to the finish, just fucking dies. And everyone you're racing against
That's weird.
you're all just piece of shit aliens, and you're going into debt, and you're fucking you're breeding them, and it is a horrendous absolute crime planet, taking place in like it's background characters from Futurama, having a race, or like background monster alien fuckers from Fact 2000,
Mm-hmm.
like that style, and it's just absolute scum shit alien gambling. It's great. So yeah, no, UFO50 super worth it, super fun, and it goes way harder than it needs to. And you can see in some of the games where the Spelunky kind of vibe is,
Right.
just from the speed and the way it moves and the pixels and stuff. But like, just a fun project that, yeah, hey, look at that. Looks like it wasn't such a bad idea after all. Check it out.
Man, I'm going to check it out.